You know, we're surrounded by numbers every single day. But have you ever stopped to think that for millions of people, one specific number is so feared it literally gets erased from buildings, from phone numbers, even from entire city blocks? Today we're going to unpack the fascinating story behind what just might be the world's unluckiest number.
I bet you've seen this. You step into an elevator, you glance at the buttons, and something's just not right. The numbers go 1, 2, 3, and then poof, straight to 5. So where did the fourth floor go? Well, it's not a mistake. It's a very deliberate choice, and the reason why is rooted in a cultural belief that is incredibly deep and powerful.
So what is this powerful belief? Let's solve the mystery of that missing floor, shall we?
Yeah, there's actually a name for this, tetraphobia. It's the specific aversion or, outright fear of the number 4. And while it might sound a little strange to some of us, it's a superstition that really shapes daily life for a huge part of the world's population, especially across East Asia. So get this entire widespread practice, we're talking altering architecture, changing numbering systems, it all boils down to something unbelievably simple. It's a linguistic coincidence. The whole fear is based on how two words sound almost exactly alike.
And here it is. This is the big aha moment. It all comes down to language. In Mandarin Chinese, the word for 4 is pronounced si. Okay, now listen to the word for death. It's si. Hear that? Si, si. The similarity is it's unmistakable. And that single phonetic link is where it all started. Suddenly, living on the death floor doesn't sound so great, does it?
And what's so fascinating is that this totally works both ways. It's not just about fear. On the flip side, the number 8, which is pronounced ba, is considered incredibly lucky because it sounds a lot like fa, the word for wealth and prosperity. So you've got this powerful contrast. One number is avoided at all costs, while the other is celebrated, all because of a trick of the ear. So, as you can imagine, this is so much more than just a quirky language fact. It has massive, real-world consequences. Let's take a look at how this one belief actively shapes the world we all live in.
This is where you can literally see the superstition carved into our environment. We already talked about those skipped floors in apartment buildings and hotels in huge cities like Hong Kong, but it goes way further. Hospitals will often skip room number 4. Even public spaces like parking lots in Japan will just leave out the number 4 to avoid any connection to bad luck.
And the impact gets right down to our personal lives, too. People will flat out refuse a phone number if it has too many 4s. Same thing goes for license plates. And this is where it gets really interesting, because this belief creates actual economic value. A plate with a 4 is seen as unlucky, but a plate with an 8? Whoa! It can be auctioned for thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. This isn't just a superstition, it's a real market for it.
And while tetraphobia is a really powerful example from East Asia, this whole idea of an unlucky number, well, it turns out it's a deeply human, totally universal tendency. Let's take a quick trip around the world.
This table is just awesome. It shows we're all kind of doing the same thing, just with different numbers. So in the West, a lot of people fear the number 13, right? Famously linked to the Last Supper. But check out Italy, it's 17. Why? Because its Roman numeral, XVI, can be rearranged to spell vixi, which is Latin for I have lived, a pretty poetic way of saying I'm dead. And back in Japan, it's not just 4. The number 9 is also avoided, because it sounds like the word for suffering. It's just amazing how these patterns pop up all over the place.
So this brings us to the real heart of it all. We've seen the what and the how, but the biggest question is, why? Why do these numerical superstitions have so much power, especially in our modern scientific world?
Well, it seems to boil down to 3 pretty fundamental human drivers. First up, psychological comfort. In a world that feels chaotic, avoiding an unlucky number gives us this small, tangible sense of control. Next, there's cultural continuity. Following these traditions connects us to our heritage, to the generations that came before us. And finally, there's symbolic power. The numbers stop being just numbers. They actually transform into these powerful shortcuts for our biggest fears and, of course, our greatest hopes.
And that leads us to this final thought, which just perfectly captures everything we've talked about. The next time you see a missing 4th floor or a skipped 13th, you'll know it's not just some weird quirk. It's a window into this incredible story about language, culture, and our universal, deeply human need to find meaning in the patterns all around us. It really makes you wonder, what number holds the most power in your world?